grab your popcorn, grab your decapitated head, get your butter, get your bag of blood. This is the 2022 edition of the 31 Days of Dread, where Peter A. DeLuca, aka Pad, your boy here, the film buff, does one horror movie a day, and that's me talking. I'm your host. I'm not a vampire. I'm almost a zombie because I've just been doing nothing but watching these movies so I can discuss them all with you. But here it is, the 31 Days of Dread. Everyone, I am so excited to bring you these movies. We're doing modern day horror for the first time ever. We're barely even going to hit 2021. We're going to focus on 2022. So roll over in that coffin and let's go. AKA Padders. Here we go. The movie. You know this movie was coming. Hocus Pocus 2. Very much hyped. Like resting on the coming soon for Disney Plus. Disney Plus has an awesome scroll of like what's coming. And I go there all the time just to remind myself what to look forward to. Hocus Pocus was there for a while. Like leading into that. Didn't follow it. Didn't follow like so much of the movie. Didn't even see the trailer. Didn't even watch the original, I think it was 94, 93 Hocus Pocus movie directed by the great Kenny Ortega, choreographer. Now, Anne Fletcher, who's our director for Hocus Pocus 2, also a choreographer. I love that they stuck they stuck the landing when it comes to the people making the movie. But what exactly is Hocus Pocus? I mean, Hocus Pocus just sat there. It came out in the 90s. It came and went. Growing up, I was way more into a movie called The Witches. Witches is so much of a superior movie, but it's also different. Witches is also based on a Ronald Dahl short story, the guy that gave us James and the Giant Peach and Willy Wonka. But then, like, a generation of women, of girls, grew up, and this is like the generation G1 of the internet age. So a lot of these girls, this is what they were writing about, blogging about, occupying thoughts and reposts, and even just like putting the poster out there on Facebook and the early days of MySpace. And Hocus Pocus, through like almost like in complementary to the Hot Topic generation, it grew. And the idea of what Disney Plus could be and what it was representing, the target of 100 million active subscribers, $100 million times $20 a month. This is operational, like your operational budget, your content budget. You can go to the moon with that type of money and that type of cash flow. And Hocus Pocus 2, with the original cast, with the original girls, is appealing. It's a smart content choice. It's there, and here's the crazy thing: trick or treat, because the movie is a trick when it comes to audiences. Hocus Pocus 2 came and went. No one really seems to care about it. No one really respected how close to, I don't want to say the original, but close almost to like the heart and what you would expect from a Hocus Pocus movie. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't watch the first movie going into this, because I like having a impression of what I think a movie should be, especially if it's a sequel, and jumping right into it. I do this with novels. There's so many book series that I started in mid-series. And I was just debating about doing that with Lensman, the Doc E. Smith sci-fi series, because I came across a volume 2 at one of my used bookstores. So getting into this movie, we get an origin of our three girls. And geez, I don't even remember the names of these girls. But it's Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. I could never pronounce the third girl, but it's fun that it's Bette Midler and the girl from Sex and the City, and these movies are slightly based on like a musical experience, but they're also heavy in like a narrative structure. So this movie begins with it's somewhat of an origin of our three witches, and it goes into the modern day where we have our replacements almost. And this is a reason why for the thumbnail I chose the movie poster for this episode's thumbnail that depicted the three new girls, because this is a generational update. It's a passing of the torch. The three new girls are as good as the three old girls. They're fun. They're cute. They're there's a little bit of a Scooby Doo. They're investigatory. It's just tons of fun. They hit the mark with the casting, with everything. And then these girls find a way to resurrect the original witches from our first movie, and they're thrown into the modern world, and then like the fun ensues. They don't know, they're fish out of the water, and we're off to the races, and we get into a very emotional, I would say, Dragonheart level impact that kind of stays with you. I mean, there's a book of spells that has an eyeball that cries at the end of this movie. There's something about that I absolutely love. Hocus Pocus feels like a Disney movie. It's perfect when it comes to how it explains the magic, the rules of the magic. There's no scene in this movie that you don't know where you're at, meaning, oh, what comes next? Or what am I supposed to be rooting for or paying attention to in this scene? The entire cast, the history of Salem. There's a magic shopkeeper that pays off at the end, but he has like his Hogwarts or his Harry Potter magic shop. So it's visually, it's a lot of these things that do borrow from Harry Potter, or Harry Potter perfected visually what others were doing before Harry Potter. Yeah, it's like what came first, the chicken or the egg with that situation. But no, I mean, people, Hocus Pocus 2 is a absolute recommendation. It's a ton of fun when it comes to Halloween. It's great. It's great for the family. This is a little bit of the argument I was making with the monsters. We can sit down and have fun with movies. We can sit down and do a little bit of a brain dump with movies. We're not beholden to perfect logic or everything being serious or having even like a certain flow of what to expect within the movie. We can just sit down and be entertained. Like, let these people spend the money, spend the effort on the production to entertain us. I think as a Disney Plus drop, it's not even on the curb. And a lot of people say the streaming kind of downgrades movies because of the push. But studios even in the 80s and 90s were pretty regular with their drops. I think the quality of streaming versus theatrical, it's 1-to-1, because why would you not want to make something amazing, and why would you forcefully make something bad? That's not what happens. A lot of times, if you want to talk about like a Lifetime or a Hallmark movie, those movies are shot in like 10 to 12 days. And that's why they are like where they are, because you don't really retake scenes when you're shooting a movie in 10 to 12 days. And feel free to fact check me on that. All right, AKAPADers, Hocus Pocus 2, full recommendation. I'm going to sit down and watch the original. Finally, let's do it. The future of film is horror, and thanks for all of that, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with me. Getting back to my point there, the future is horror. The future of cinema is horror. So everyone here, and I've never ever in all these years, I've never made this request, but everyone that we highlight, every single filmmaker, male, female, ghoul, goblin, you know the drill. But check them out. Find them on a streaming platform. I usually highlight how I watch these movies on which platform, even if I rented it or bought it, so you guys know a little bit of the price range. It's important that we support all of these movies and all of these filmmakers because they are the future. The future is horror. Thanks for hanging out.